No, there's a fucking glare. I can't fucking be bothered with cutting out fucking glares and shit. Ahoy! You are... Still glare. There we go. Ahoy! You are aboard the SS Vault of it. Doom. SS Doom. You're aboard the SS Doom. And you're watching this Vault of Doom episode. I'm introducing it by saying ahoy because, well, grab your swashbuckling rum. Cheers to this episode. Boy, I'm real excited about this one. Ladies and germs, it's the episode about Songbay. Yarr. And I'm going to be looking into this a little bit, as I often do, to basically dispel the myth. There's likely, I've been told, there's likely some myth about it. I don't know. I've been told that it's a scam. I think the only way to actually dispel it other than doing this is in a courtroom, as it is a copywriting platform, and I have a multitude of songs officially legally copywritten through this platform. So what I'm going to be doing is checking out a couple forums on here. Let's see what everybody else has to say. But for now, you salty dogs, we will enjoy some black metal. Okay, and now that we've gotten that dispelling the myth part out of the way, it's not quite time to have fun yet. I can't go jump straight immediately to the have fun part with it, and so I'll try to make this segment as quick as I can, as we're going to look into a legit copyright and what the words are there, because all those other words were bogus words, meaningless words that don't have any at all whatsoever. These are words that have value. So let's prim and proper, straighten up that upper lip and don't cry too much about it, because we got to look into how you can actually copyright your stuff. And in typing in International Copyright Association, it's called the International Copyright and Intellectual Property Rights Organization, ICRIO. It's an independent organization being fully funded internationally and one and only international platform with name and nomenclature, and also as a body specifically dedicated to international copyrights. And it doesn't say intellectual property, but likely it says intellectual property. So here at ICRIPR.org, that's where we're going to jump to and see what a legit copyright looks into. As I've already mentioned, registering seems free. I would have to go into doing all that, but it isn't that big of a deal with the fair use copyright already in place for anything published on streaming platforms. What is a big deal and something to look at, keep in mind, is that Creative Commons law that anything performed in public is available for anybody to use. So if you go to an open mic and you want to test out a new song, it's probably fine, but some jack-off can fucking steal all your shit. And if people are willing to go into enough effort to create a whole fucking website for that specific purpose, imagine what the fuck else is going on there. Don't imagine too much. I know it'll probably give you nightmares. So let's go back to the true. There's so much information on here. Now let's comparing them side by side. I didn't want to read the first one, and I don't want to read this one either. But I don't even want to paraphrase either. But I think I'm going to come around to actually reading some of this. So things like until I see any legal terminology. I mean, who knows how far I could go into this philosophically, but that's why I'm here to basically talk about something substantial, practical, and pragmatic that you would go to and look into this and introduce yourself to this stuff. I can read this. This is nothing but 3 little paragraphs here on copyright registration from ICRIPR.org. Copyright registration. It has become compulsory to do copyright registration and to obtain certificate of copyright from International Copyright and Intellectual Property Rights Organization, ICRIPRO. Note, in the recent decision from 1st of January 2020, all the book publishing houses, distributing houses, and authors, those who fully own or partly own their copyright, and or would use the copyright symbol or having ISBN or ISBN barcode in their book, has to mandatorily obtain a certificate of copyright from International Copyright and Intellectual Property Rights Organization. Okay, I'm ready to go. Continue going. Or not go. I'm not ready to go. I'm ready to continue going. If the book has been published internationally more than one country or in any international platform. Wow. That's the completion of the first 2 paragraphs. Here's the other paragraph. International Copyright and Intellectual Property Rights Organization, ICRIPRO, will strictly look after every copyright violation and will also look after the unfair practices or malpractices by publishing and distributing houses. A proper record of royalty payment for each and every author against their copyright certificate has to be given and would be updated to International Copyright and Intellectual Property Rights Organization, ICRIPRO. Done. with the copyright registration. What the fuck did I get from that? Basically, I guess you have to obtain these certificates and have the remain in contact. Maybe that's what it is. Remain in contact with ICRIPRO, and then you will be legit for publishing books. That whole thing basically specifies something like publishing books. Hey, what is the nature of all this legal terminology? I don't fucking know, but you gotta go through it at some point. And if you got goals that involve longevity or long-term goals and stuff, you're not gonna settle for and be okay with fair use copyrights. You'll be smitten by the larger entities, and shit like this makes bands split up. Here's your albums out here. Learn about the organization. Right. And then scrolling through here, look at all this information. Realistically, it's literally not all that much information on here. It's really not. It's nothing. This is in the same domain and same realm, and no different than all the terms of use and privacy policies of all the apps that you frequently use. If you are an artist or having any kind of creative property, you should definitely set time aside for all this stuff, and you should definitely make sure that if you're sacrificing time with other people to set time aside for this, that you can come to grips with the consequences of that at some point in time, because these guys are just dealing with the aspect of stuff. They're not taking into account any of the guts and the substance and the entrails of making some kind of creative endeavor work successfully. But you can contact them if you have any questions right there with their contact down below. And for all I know, there's a whole nother one. There usually is. This is what would decipher, subscribing to my content and listening to me yammer about this stuff to myself basically half the time. You can save yourself from a lot of rabbit holes, I'll tell you that much. Here we have, this is the registration process. Looking into this and going into this, I don't know. I've just registered without reading all this, but now I'm aware I have to read some of this to register, and then registering likely to be free. Maybe everything's free. I don't know. When COVID happened, bus fare and train fare was free for a while. Maybe these guys have some sort of thing going on for that. There was memberships for certain places that was free, where like a Costco type thing where you didn't have to. People took breaks for pandemic type stuff, and it is we are currently experiencing inflation, and the dollar is deteriorating. So keep that in mind as well. Also take that into account when you're looking into this stuff. But here we are back, copyright registration. What it was written about it for authors and book writers. Here's a register now. As you can see, I don't see anywhere mentioning something about pricing. So for this one, and then if there is another one, and I'm simply not going to provide that information here. What I have done for sure is at least giving you a starter so that you can get into your protection required. And enough of that. Quite enough of that. Now we can have fun, basically, I guess. I don't know if this is quite fun, but I can have fun with this now. So, like, share, subscribe. Here's what I'm going to show you now. I posted onto my regular Instagram. You're on Threads right now, where I'm scrolling through all my threads and looking for something. So you can see all my recent posts. This is what I posted, and this is what I posted, and this is some more stuff that I posted. This is what I posted. See anything you like, let me know. Drop a comment, and there's me. I'm right there. There I am as well. Also flicking you off, giving you the middle finger. Also, there's my musical instruments. There I am. So, drop those comments and see if I'm looking for some. Honestly, I'm looking for some comments from people who have even the slightest bit of sense of humor. There's young me, 18 years old. All right, and it wasn't on my threads. So middle finger, you get the middle finger again. It wasn't on my threads. It was on my general Instagram account. Zipped out of there and zip zap zoop. There's a 19-year-old me at the recording studio, and then I went zip zap zoop and fucking soup, get some soup. And then I fucking went to my general fucking Instagram account and went into another middle finger. Yay. Quick promo, check out Rose for Raponia. You know, I don't get fun necessarily to do self-promotion, but it's a hell of a lot more fun than all that fucking terminology. Holy fucking shit. Alright, scrolling down here, I'll tell you what I'm looking for, because it's another service, air quote, because it's legit they could have gotten, I think, on that Songbay, that bogus-ass copywriting platform. They provide music industry contacts, as you can see right here. I'm scrolling through all of it. I'm sharing it way back 2 years ago or 1 year ago. 2 years ago, I'm sharing it, and I'm saying, look, Harlan Music, Buddy Killin' Music Group, BMG Music Publishing. This is this massive list of music contacts. I've thought when I had it, they make it all like very super secret, like make you feel all protected and feel all good and all this stuff. And I think I've literally only actually spoken to one of those record labels. And when I did, the guy was just like, we're not interested in this and that. As I need to seemingly constantly always remind you, I'm kind of a glitch in the system. So there's a lot of details I can't necessarily say for sure, and I don't necessarily know why the fuck I only got into contact with one of them. But they did have the contact info from Metal Blade Records. And I did send Metal Blade Records, this is maybe the third or fourth or fifth time I'm saying it, I did send them some demo sound samples where they've received some of my creative work as an infantile concept, basically. And now I think what's going on is there's a lot of pirating going on in that avenue, where there's some pirating and siphoning highway going on in between from that and to that. As I wouldn't mind being signed to Metal Blade Records. I would mind it all. I would actually kind of like that. But they've received all these baby infantile versions of concepts where the demo is literally just how the song sounds. It's just how the song sounds. This is my creation, whatever. Race to the top, crawl and scrounge up to the top of whatever abyss, pit and piss. Speaking of, I gotta wrap up in a second here, guys, but pit and abyss that you recovered this creation from, and then crawl up from that and then claim it as your own. So political these days. All music creation is so fucking political. It's literally like starting a fucking colony or a culture or something like that. And so how is my colony doing? I don't know. You know, Will, speaking in third person, Will to Metal Blade Records. I don't know. Find out on the next episode of you know what you're watching. It's fucking me. It's my show, whatever. The world is fucking doomed. I don't want to say anything else. Alright, let's check out this website. Let's see what they have on here. Now, quick pretext, I've actually paid for a membership on here. One of the things that makes it kind of peculiar is I bought the 1-year membership, and it lasted. There was like a lifetime membership. They never canceled my yearly membership when I stopped doing yearly subscriptions. So let's look at what they have we're on the home page. I mean, there's a couple. That's the pretext. Let me point out a couple things I noticed while recording this screen video. As far as quickly identifying something, you could go down to the bottom of the page and just look to see if there's any reputable entity sponsoring the page or not, and there isn't. This page just has whoever developed the web page. So there's that all in 2 minutes. You can quickly identify if it's bogus or not. You can hear it. You already heard my story about my dealings with this, and then to wrap it all up in closing, I'm going to put this in the same category and lump it up with all the other bogus shit that I'm pointing out. That bogus thing is added to all the other bogus things. What I'm referring to before I continue playing the video is pay to play. And people make a living off of this. So it makes it pretty dangerous for me to kind of cover it. So I'm giving all my point as subjective. I'm trying to make this as subjective as possible, but people make a living on this. Songbay. People make a living on pay to play, where they're basically acting like a talent agent, and then they're requiring you to pay money if you can't get the certain amount of tickets sold, like I mentioned in the previous episode. And then there's the most recent bogus thing that I'm pointing out, and that's the Orchard Publishing. So stay away from the Orchard, stay away from Play to Play, stay away from Songbay, but we're still going to go into this and look into this anyway. One thing I also say with my dealings is it's arranged and set up to where you can meet other artists that have a membership, that you can chat with them in a live chat or a chat room. So it's like I don't think anybody, it's probably the best of intentions. Nobody's trying to be bogus, but I have the copyright issues here that we're going to go over and compare them to the actual copyright organization. And so it's best of intentions, but it's false hope for sure. Nothing but a bunch of false hope. And then they're making a living on this. Just go legit. You know, if this is what you want to do, that's my final advice. Just go legit. That if this is what you want to do, you actually want to help artists copyright their music, go work for the international copyright. Find a job there or something like that, you know. Who am I other than just some guy getting in the middle of it? You know, I'd be really pissed off from this, but it's vital information. That's why I've made this a premium subscription only.
as is most of my content, honestly. Like, most of my stuff should be premium. However, I can only say, as of right now, with this there only being 2 videos available for premium subscription, anything else that goes up for paid is going to be my writings, the stuff that I like to write about for essays and stuff like that. Like an essay that I've written that has a lot of good information and detailed, articulate narrative. That's what you're paying for. You're paying for good quality. And then this is peak, higher ground, fucking peak position to be in. This is a really good fucking position to be in, to just be able to commentate on this stuff. And I can see why it's so difficult. I'm trying to struggle and fight and crawl to the top here above whatever I'm getting drowned out by or something, despite all my tags. But either you have the information or you do not have the information. And I do have the information, so I put good quality out there. I don't expect anybody to pay, but if you see what I'm putting out, you benefit from it. That would be why you would continue to support me on Patreon and buy those premium posts. Now, I won't get into any more of that. Let's continue on. Here and contrast this and my copyrights from here to what it would take to get to copyright. I have not gotten around to starting and registering with the international copyright yet, but it looks free. It looks like it's free to register. I think once you get in there and get registered, just speculating from this point, I think that that's where you would start paying. And there just used to be, this is vital piece of information to throw in here too, that if everybody's heard this, that back in the day you do the poor man's copyright, and this is should be well-known knowledge nowadays, considering that your copyright's already there once it's published on any streaming platform. You already have a basic copyright up. And if anybody uses any of your content or any of your music that you put up there, including lyrics and all that, and this is just me reading from what YouTube is saying that they have to offer. This is me reading what YouTube has said. You can go into your schedule, check your schedule, and see if you have time to look into it, or you could pay for a premium post like this and get all that you need right here. Most people don't have time for that, so they're going to probably go in here. And so that's where your basic copyright comes from. It's published, my music is published on YouTube. If anybody uses it in any way, I'll be likely to be notified, even if they haven't notified me themselves. The person that used it hasn't notified me themselves. I should still either be notified, or if they're making money on it and I come around to finding it, that's where you would take the next step. You would take the next step after that your pirated music is being profited from. So then you can take this person to court with your what's called fair use. It's called fair use. And then there's another that I don't want to get too far into this because I don't know too much about it, but it's your basic terminology that I can't get over right now. I think that's why I don't know more about it. I can't get over all the basic terminology. It's supposed to be basic terminology, but there's so fucking much of it. It's insane. Because there's fair use and Creative Commons is different. Creative Commons is like the opposite of copyright. Is that anything that's used in a public space can be used by anybody. That's what Creative Commons is. You would have to go, as I said, off of whoever's profiting off of it and making money off of it, and then take them to court if anything like that ever went down. I'm into that, and instead continue on with the video here. This web developers probably are responsible for this. That last sheet looks good. You scroll down and this thing's moving. It's like lyric sales. You know how this was arranged is you set your price, put the lyrics up, And honestly, it's Stockholm Syndrome to say that anything good about it, but it's good to be aware, better to be aware of your Stockholm Syndrome, to say, wow, I actually could still realistically say something good about this, but there really ultimately isn't anything to say about it. It's an illegitimate way of connecting, as I haven't connected with anybody on here from years of using it, and not paying any more subscription. They didn't cancel it, they just kept it running. And here's a cool thing. Here's another really cool thing that I want to add in here, on top of just dissecting this website and looking at it, what all this web page stuff. Is anybody even reading this? Is anybody even going to read this stuff? I mean, I didn't. I fell upon this naturally. I didn't have any, I sought it out and all this stuff. And that's where I'm easily overcoming Stockholm Syndrome, where I'm, as usual, coming across stuff naturally, like a beta tester. I have exited the beta program and now doing my rehashing of what the fuck this even is and what the fuck is this even about. But the interface is just all totally looking legit here. Recent uploads, latest users, share. They have an X, they have a Facebook, they have an Instagram. I mean, I can only go into a little bit of effort for trying to connect with artists on X and in their chat room here on this domain, and then upload so many. But as a technically beta tester of this, and then coming out of it, I've already determined that it is illegitimate. I have to come to my final conclusion, and I have come to my final conclusion that it is illegitimate. I wouldn't pull any lyrics from here. The catch, not a catch-22, but the catch, and the thing that probably gets you is me after being in this and then leaving it. If I really wanted to support artists the same way that if these guys really wanted to provide a service to artists and give them a copyright, if I really wanted to support artists, I would give them my money through here and go on here and buy some lyrics or go seek out some lyrics. It's just a whole thing, I think, just to give people, you'd say, what account type do you have? You're already telling them some information right here, like to mainly sell music or lyrics, or to mainly purchase music or lyrics. So it's not just illegitimate, it's like literally pirate information. It's like they're like, just woke up one day and they're like, fuck it, do this. And it's another bogus thing, like all the fucking companies that mentioned that have pirating things. It's just basically stay away from it, watch out for it. It's providing you false hope, it's illegit. And now I'm going to show you the copyright certificates they provide for the lyrics that you upload. This is a copyright certificate for Voyage, the song that was written whenever. They ask you all this information when you upload. They ask you when it was written. They ask you if you have a copy of it yourself. Here's what it says. I'm going to read this. So, Voyage, copyright. Songbay, copyright protection certificate. Title of work, Voyage. I assert the following. I, my name of this location, and the lawful copyright holder or joint copyright holder of the work Voyage. The work is a lyric. I confirm that it is entirely original of my / our creation and does not infringe the intellectual property rights or any other rights of any other persons. I / created it on this date. Original master copy is located at this location. I uploaded a copy of this work to the Songbay Copyright Protection Office. The record provides indubitable evidence of time-specific existence and in any dispute of plagiarism or copyright infringement during the term of my active Songbay subscription. I confirm that the original master copy of this work, if required to do so. I hereby declare that the information provided in this attestation is true and correct. I understand that any inaccuracies, whether unintentional or otherwise, will render this document null and void, and in some circumstances could result in legal proceedings against me. I also understand that this document is only valid if supported by an active Songbay subscription, protected from this date, signed on this date, digital signature there. It's a whole fucking mass of information that anybody could probably have access to. Very dangerous, super fucking dangerous. They would have your address, they would have the date you created, they would have the actual work. What a fucking scam. So dispelling this myth is not an issue. The myth was obvious, it's bogus, but isn't that the nature of scams though in general? Isn't the nature of scams that it already looks bogus enough that it can likely to be trying to get away with a whole lot more than is looked into? But I've officially dispelled this myth now, as of right now. This is a total fucking bogus thing. And now now I'm really busy now. Fucking bogus copyright certificates. It's just like now, and on top of that now too, then I look like I just saved and hoarded all these just to dispel the myth. I look like a troll, like I'm trolling them or something like that. But this is a premium post. This is a premium video, subscribers only. So it is vital for people to get into. Everything else I have is free content. You can learn how to podcast. You can learn some of the in-depth studio recording methods, lyric writing. There's all kinds of free stuff on there. So if you've made it here to the premium side of things, I thank you very much for your support. And make sure you watch out for those bogus pirates. These guys should be brought to it. They should be brought to it. You should make these guys walk the plank. Yarg. They should definitely be walking the plank for this, because it's so, like, it should still work. I think that's what I was thinking when I finished up what I was confirming. As I said, I already confirmed this to myself when finishing up my subscription. I think that's what I was thinking. I think what I was thinking the whole time was like, I'm already knowing that it should still work though. People should still be contacting me. There should still be messages in my inbox. There's still supposed to be some of that stuff, but there wasn't. There wasn't anything in the chat, anything going on, nobody buying anything. There was nothing going on at all. Really bad fucking news. Really bad fucking news. I didn't see one red cent from any of that work. So, shame on these buccaneers for fucking whatever they're doing here. And another scrap of evidence that the world is doomed. Well, scallywags, that's the end of the episode on Songbay. Arrgh. And I have been your host, leading you to tread these murky waters of Songbay. Mickey GemInEye, Vault of Doom. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and check out the tip jar so I can
keep drinking me grog. Till then, scallywags.